Hi, and welcome back to the Cooking with Courtney show. I'm Courtney Swain, the Family and Consumer Science Agent here at Cooperative Extension in Stanley County. We are located at the Agri-Civic Center, and anytime you have any questions, you just give us a call and we'll be glad to answer them. Today we have a special guest with us from 5 a Day Farm, Cindy Callahan.
Hello.
And she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her farm.
Well, I am actually the program head for Medical Laboratory Technology at the Crutchfield Signature Campus, the Allied Health Campus down in Locust. And my husband and I decided with the land that we have in Oakboro, we needed to do something with it for our retirement income. So in the fall of 2011, we decided we'd start an orchard. We have peaches, we have blueberries and blackberries, mulberries, nectarines. We actually are able to grow nectarines here in Stanley County. And we have been selling this year at the Oakboro Farmers Market, which is every Saturday from 8 to 1 at the Train Museum.
And this is the first year they've had that farmers market.
It is. And we started selling about the time that the blueberries and the peaches that we have were ripening.
And I bet those mulberries really went fast.
They did. People hadn't tasted them before, so we had some open for people to try, and they would eat them and then buy them. So we sold out the first time we brought them.
Wonderful. It's something that you don't typically see at the farmers market.
No,
so
they're very tender, so it's not something that you could see in the grocery store. They wouldn't transport very well.
Right.
But we're just trying to get a variety of fruit, see what grows well, see what people like, and then expand from there in the small space that we have.
That is wonderful. Well, your husband brought me by a bag of peaches a few weeks ago, and they were delicious.
We've really enjoyed them.
Yeah, well, I sure enjoyed them too.
We have a freezer full. And that's the thing about peaches. If you get them when they're really, really ripe, you need to work them up as soon as possible, but they freeze beautifully. And then you can have you can make recipes with fresh peaches all year long.
And what do you use to keep them from turning brown?
Fruit Fresh or citric acid, but you can buy Fruit Fresh in the grocery store. And you mix it in there and it just keeps the fruit from turning brown, which doesn't look very attractive when you're trying to eat it.
No, and just like the last show that we did with the apples I just talked about, the reason why they turn brown is because oxygen gets to them. So there's nothing wrong if they do turn a little brown, but it's not appealing to anybody. Today we're going to make a peach crisp, which is a little bit healthier version of a peach cobbler. And so Cindy brought us some sliced peaches, and these were frozen ones, and I drained off most of the juice. And the reason why we want to drain most of it off is so it doesn't get too soggy in the middle. So we'll just put those in there, and it calls for about 4 cups. This is give or take a little. We just spread that in the bottom there. And then a stick of butter, which you could really cut that back. You don't really need a stick of butter.
But it's so good.
It is so good. A half a cup of brown sugar. And when you measure brown sugar, something I always tell the kids in the kitchen 4-H club is you want to make sure you pack it down really good. That's how you measure brown sugar. A half a cup of just all-purpose flour. And then a half a teaspoon of nutmeg and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And just a little bit of salt, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then a cup of oats. And then we just mix that together. You want to mix that for us, Cindy?
Make sure I don't get it all over the counter like I do at home.
That's the tricky part. And what are some things you like to do with your peaches?
When we were trying to decide the variety of peaches to plant, we were going to Montgomery and Moore County. They had a farm day, and we toured a lot of the farms in the area, and Dr. Clayton's farm had a little pamphlet with a lot of peach recipes. Dr. Clayton developed a lot of the varieties that we go around here. There is a peach pie recipe that is wonderful. It's like a peach crumb, like an apple crumb pie, but it's peach. I like that, but I've made peach butter. I've made not pickled peaches, but spiced peaches.
Oh, yummy.
Preserves. We have a lot of that I've canned over over the years. And of course, the ones that are frozen, my husband likes to just thaw out and eat straight out of the container.
That's right. I think that's how a lot of people like to eat them, just right off the vine.
And a fresh peach that you have gotten that has ripened on the tree really it tastes nothing like the kind of peaches you get in the grocery store that have been picked before they're ripened. The flavor just doesn't develop that well when they're picked ahead of time.
And you know, it's not it's not a average thing for people to grow peaches here in Stanley County. Have you found it to be difficult or pretty easy for you?
The trees seem to like the climate and the soil that we have. The only thing about peaches is everything in the world likes them. Bugs, bacterial diseases, fungi. So you have to spray peaches. And you have to have a spray program so that, just like in healthcare, which is my primary profession, you can get resistant organisms.
Right.
And bacteria and people that attack people. You can get resistant organisms in fruit. So you have to rotate your pesticides that are used so the organisms don't get immune and then take out the crop.
Right.
So you have to document all the pesticides that you use and when and how much, just like all the documentation you do in healthcare. So it's really a lot alike as far as documentation goes.
And don't they have a peach festival is it Montgomery or Moore County?
It's Candor. That's considered the peach capital, but they have a peach festival. North Carolina. Yes. It's a lot of fun because they have a parade, and then they have the different orchards that are around, people selling the peaches that happen to be ripe at that time, and they have recipes. It's just a lot of fun. It's a good family day if you get a chance to go. But it's in the summer.
I thought it was. Someone brought me back a pamphlet of the recipes, and it might have been what you were talking about.
Might have been the same one.
Yes.
And there's also a newsletter. There's a Peach Growers Association, and you can get a newsletter that has a lot of peach recipes on it. Peach ice cream.
Oh, yummy.
Which is really good. We did that 4th of July.
Oh, I bet that was very good.
Yeah.
Now, when do your peaches start coming in?
We have varieties that start ripening. Alberta, which is the classic peach, around the 4th of July, end of June, early July, and we have different varieties. The last one, we have one called Big Red that is hopefully due to ripen within a week or so. It's not ripe just yet, and those peaches that I brought for you to show are not ripe, but there's some that we're hoping will ripen before too long, so we can take them to the farmer's market.
Great.
But
so you have...
this is about the end of our season.
Yes. And all we're doing here with the peach crisp is just spreading this around. And well, I might have to do something that I might do behind the scenes here, but my hands are clean. I'm just going to spread this apart. It gets tricky with that butter because you want it to be as even as possible there. We don't want a big clump of the topping, even though it is the good stuff with the sugar and the butter in there. Oh, I bet this is going to be delicious.
Smells good. If you put brown sugar and butter together, it's going to be good.
Yes. Now this would be a great dessert with a little ice cream, maybe. Okay. And our oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and we're just going to put it in there for about 30 minutes. And, oh, Cindy, did you hear that? I thought I heard that timer go off. We've got a
You had one ahead of time, didn't you?
We sure do.
Well, you have to show the finished product.
That's right. It just wouldn't be a cooking show without it. So I'll set that right there while I put this one in. We don't keep secrets around here, though. We let you know that there's really a magic one. You know, those cooking shows on the bigger networks, they really make you think they're magic.
But they also have commercials. You think that's speedy
right.
cooking between
That's right.
the commercials.
Well, this is our peach crisp, and I hope that you all will try this at home with your families for a nice evening dessert with maybe a little ice cream or whipped cream or Cool Whip on there. But there's so many other things you can do with peaches, as Cindy told us today. So thank you so much for coming on the
You're
Cooking
welcome.
with Courtney show, and I hope you all will stop by 5 a Day Farm at the Oakboro Farmers Market, or if you just see them out and about, I'm sure they've got something that they could get up for you. So thank you so much, and thank you, Stanley Community College, for filming today's Cooking with Courtney show. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.